On Bravo, there is a show called Vanderpump Rules. This show started, 11, 12 plus years ago, following the lives of the model actors that also worked at one of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurants. It followed their friend group. It was very Melrose Place, but reality show. People were quite intertwined and intermingled, hooked up with one another. I think everyone on the show, it felt like some people had hooked up with one another. People cheated on each other. Mess. And so as they have grown from their early 20s to their 30s, we have watched the cast of Vanderpump Rules go from being messy and all working at the same bar, hooking up with each other, to getting married, getting divorced, having kids, building families, and trying to figure out what their life looks like as adults. And we've watched the show and them evolve in that way. Two individuals on the show, Ariana and Tom, were together for over 10 years. Tom and Ariana got together, it seems, while he was still with his previous ex, but that is water well under the bridge. Tom and Ariana lived together, shared a mortgage together, were building a life together, and it was very clear that they, or at least on the show, were building their life and future together as committed partners. Ariana was very clear she didn't want to get married, but they were just like, we're in it. We've got pets. We've got a mortgage. We've got a house. Let's go. There is a lawsuit going on over the house of Tom and Ariana because he wanted to buy her out. She didn't like the rate he was offering her. This played out last season on the show a bit. So they are in litigation over a forced sale of the home to split the house essentially in half because they own it 50-50. So she can't just sell it. He can't just sell it. They have to agree on how much it's being sold for, and they are asking for the court's help with that. So the house is contested. It is in litigation now. Separate and apart from that, at the end of last season, Ariana had become very close with another cast member, Rachel. At the time, she was going by Raquel. She has since asked to go by Rachel. I am going to call her by the name she asked to be called, as I do with everybody. Rachel was with one of the other cast members, DJ James Kennedy, and came onto the show dating DJ James Kennedy. DJ James Kennedy had also hooked up with Tom Sandoval's ex, Kristen, and then he and Kristen were dating, and it seems like that's what brought him onto the show. So DJ James Kennedy dates Kristen, gets onto the show, breaks up with Kristen, starts dating Rachel. That's how she gets onto the show. Rachel becomes super close with Ariana, and unbeknownst to us, with Tom Sandoval in a more sexual way. So Rachel starts having a intimate relationship with Tom Sandoval behind Ariana's back. The shocking part of some of this is that Rachel had location sharing with Ariana. Came out in the lawsuit. So Rachel knew where Ariana was. So when Rachel is hooking up with Tom at Ariana's home, when Ariana's at her grandmother's funeral, Rachel knows that Ariana is not around. So Rachel is hooking up with Tom. Ariana doesn't know. Ariana, this is 10 years in to her relationship with Tom. So as cameras go down, we start hearing rumblings that Ariana has found out. This all goes down in March while Sheena is at Watch What Happens Live with Rachel. Watch What Happens Live is Andy Cohen's after show that talks about the show, brings people on, talks about the season, talks about the reunions, the bravo of it all. They're at Watch What Happens Live in New York. Ariana's at a concert for Tom's cover band in LA. Tom's phone falls out of his pocket, according to the lawsuit and everything we've seen about this. So now I'm going with the facts alleged in the lawsuit. Tom's phone falls out of his pocket. It's given to Ariana because that's his woman, right? This is his partner. She, it seems from allegations in the suit, knows his passcode, has access to his phone, and sees in his phone a video recording of Rachel and him phone sexing over FaceTime. This lawsuit comes from that. So the lawsuit we're talking about today comes from Rachel and Tom on FaceTime doing the adulty things And Ariana seeing that video, sending that video to Rachel, essentially saying, what the and the ensuing fallout. Cameras go back up and Scandoval rocks the nation. It is everywhere. I think the New York Times called Tom Sandoval one of the most hated men in America. It comes up in this lawsuit and statements about the lawsuit. So Ariana and Tom, in lawsuit over the house, are sued by Rachel and are sued by Rachel for what's going on with the video and for Ariana sharing the video back to Rachel, which may or may not count under the law. We'll get there. And for Tom recording the video. Tom alleges that Rachel made the video and sent it to him. We also have the sideshow of that where Sheena, who had been close with Tom and purported besties with Ariana, is on Watch What Happens Live with Rachel the night this goes down. Sheena gets called by Ariana, finds out what happened. Sheena and Rachel get into it. Rachel gets a restraining order against Sheena saying that Sheena punched her. Sheena says she pushed her. There was a confrontation. There was a restraining order. It was later dropped. That all has come up on the show in the reunions mess. Rachel did not return for season 11. Not surprised. Rachel checked herself into a mental health facility. Tom was mad that she didn't want to stay on the show. Tom seems to me, my impression, to be one of those people who is like, I know this really sucks to go through for life, but imagine the content. When creators talk about content brain, I feel like Tom is like, yeah, it sucks, but it's great for the content. But it's great for the content. And it seems that that is how Tom, to me, through all of this, views his life. But it's good for content. It seems to me that the women in Tom's life viewed their encounters and relationships with him as real and not as content. I don't know if Tom viewed his relationships as real or as content. And this is ponderance. I wonder if Tom saw his relationship with Ariana as a content house. We're better as a couple. We're more sellable as a couple. We're more profitable as a couple. We're Tom and Ariana. And that's our brand. He elbowed his way in to her first book on cocktails. And I think Tom sees everything in his life as content and as the brand. From everything we've seen, from the interviews he's done, from all of it, from the fake crying. His behavior is horrific. I think Ariana really saw this as her life. And they also are on a reality show. And I think there was a difference there. Since then, the fallout has been that Tom became maligned. Ariana had quite a lot of opportunity. The internet very much rallied around Ariana and saying, I can't believe we thought Tom had changed. We saw you for 10 years. We thought you had changed. We thought this was better. Ariana has since done Dancing with the Stars, has done Broadway, is the host of Love Island, has done like all of the things. Tom is struggling, it seems, with his bar getting, review bombed, people not wanting to go to Shorts and Sandy's, not having nearly the opportunities. And we've seen some on the cast be frustrated that Ariana, what were Lala's words? Got cheated on and became God. So some in the cast are just like, really? But they all also have podcasts and YouTube channels. And the cast, except for Ariana and Katie, has talked about this at length on podcasts and YouTube, on and on and on. Rachel sent out cease and desists early on about the video that was discussed, including to Lala, who was on live stream and was like, I don't give a send it to Daryl, and then made the Send It to Daryl merch that bought her like a $3 million house. The only reason I bring it up is because she talked about it in multiple interviews. The rest of the cast talked about this nonstop on their own stuff. Ariana stayed booked and busy. Tom, not as much. Rachel left the show. Rachel checked off of the internet and into mental health treatment for herself and seemed to try to take care of herself. And then ended up back in the conversation during this lawsuit. She sued with an attorney that is also working with other housewives to sue Bravo and others. So Mark Garagos, whose name you might recognize from things like being the defense attorney for Scott Peterson, has been working with other Bravo lebs to sue regarding all of the Bravo, ducking Bravo of it all, the reality reckoning, as Bethany Frankel called it. So he has been working with a lot of those lawsuits. So he files the lawsuit from Rachel against Tom and Ariana. So at the Scandoval of it all, we ended up covering not only the bases of the lawsuit that I have gone over on the Emily show and broken down, but also the updates. Ariana had filed that anti-SLAPP motion to try to get the lawsuit dismissed. The court said that sending the video from Ariana's phone to Rachel's phone was not protected First Amendment activity, but in fact could be illegal because of the video and because of the allegations by Rachel that the video was surreptitiously recorded by Tom of her. And so at a minimum, Tom recorded the video of Rachel while they were on FaceTime that she did not consent to. Ariana took that video off of Tom's phone and sent it to her phone, and then sent it from her phone to Rachel's phone at minimum. After all of that and Rachel's original lawsuit, Rachel responded in a very thorough 17-page declaration talking about her time spent at the Meadows, that it cost her over $115,000 to seek treatment, that it cost her over $10,000 in legal fees to send out cease and desist to the cast members regarding this video because she was so concerned that Ariana would share it with others, which we know that Ariana has strongly denied, and other members of the cast have supported that statement saying, we have never seen this video. She told us what happened. But both Rachel and Tom are doubling down on the allegations that they can't verify that Ariana didn't send that video that Tom recorded to anyone else. And then Tom sues Ariana in a cross complaint within the same lawsuit. So the lawsuit is Rachel versus Tom and Ariana, and the cross complaint is Tom versus Ariana. He is asking the court for declaratory relief and an injunction. The injunction says to stop sharing the video. Yet there's no evidence that that has been done. The declaratory relief, or the asking the judge to make a ruling without monetary damages or what have you, is Tom asking the court to say, hey, if Tom is responsible for any damages to Rachel, Tom's asking the court to determine what percentage Tom has to pay and what percentage Ariana has to pay, alleging that because Ariana stole the video off of his phone and he says invaded his privacy by accessing his phone, which is belied by statements he's made on the show and statements made by others, but this is what he said in his lawsuit, that the accessing of his phone by Ariana invaded his privacy, and that taking the video off the phone and sending it to Rachel and others, what he's alleging in his lawsuit, is what caused the substantial amount, if not all, of the damages to Rachel, including the amount of money spent at inpatient treatment, the amount of money spent on lawyers, and the rest of it. Tom is asking the court to decide that if he is held financially responsible to Rachel, that Ariana has to pay it because his actions are not the actions at issue. And you're staring, saying, but Emily, didn't Rachel allege that Tom recorded the video without her consent and that Tom is the one who is at fault for the invasion of her privacy and the eavesdropping? Isn't that what Rachel's alleging against Tom? Yes. But Tom is asking the court to decide the comparative fault of the two parties. He's arguing and partly using Rachel's affidavit in the response to the anti-SLAPP motion to say Ariana caused the bulk of the damages by sharing the video, not Tom's actions of recording the video. So if Tom is held responsible, he's asking the court to say that Ariana has to pay it and at least have the court come up with the different comparative damages. So again, Ariana ends up being the one who pays, not Tom. Interestingly enough, Tom's filing seems to indicate that this indemnity would help him determine kind of a course of action forward. I wonder if Tom is hoping, or Tom and his lawyers are hoping, that if Ariana is found in some percentage of comparative fault to him, and that means even if she's found at fault and he's found at fault, she has to pay for a percentage of his fault, that it will allow him to perhaps negotiate or settle this more quickly. And I wonder if he's hoping that this could force the litigation with the sale of the house to go forward more swiftly. But it is a bold filing, and I wonder if they fully considered the impact this filing would have in the court of public opinion, because he is trying to ensure that Ariana is the one left financially holding the bag for the video of Rachel that he recorded. What will be interesting is if his defense in that case plays out, and his defense so far has been that there was consent to record that video and that Rachel, in fact, made that video and sent it to him, but we know it's a FaceTime. So on this one, when we look at the declaration of Rachel, it seems that she was genuinely surprised that Tom had made that recording, and that is why she sent those cease and desists so quickly. Her behavior closer in time aligns more than with Tom's version of events, that she sent that and made that for him, and that somehow he had consent for that. Rachel's behavior in this relationship aside, the non-consensual recording of the video shouldn't have happened. Distribution of the video shouldn't have happened. And there was going to be a fight here for Ariana over whether her texting it from Tom's phone to her and then from her phone to Rachel counts under the law as distribution. But I break all that down in the video covering this initial lawsuit, and that'll be linked for you below. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on Wednesdays. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing, receive the fastest notifications out there, and get more Law Nerd community, join me at lawnerdapp.com, our free app for iOS and Android.